I received more Viviva art supplies. In this little art supply haul, I will be unboxing, swatching, testing, and reviewing the Fall Set of Viviva Colorsheets and the A6 Travel Paint Kit from Viviva Colors. You can get these and more Viviva art products at a 10% discount by using my affiliate links and code, which you can find in the description. If you use my affiliate link, I'll get paid a commission at no extra cost to you. The Travel Paint Kit comes in a dark blue vegan leather case that contains everything you need to paint on the go, as the box says. The case feels really soft and good quality. There's an elastic band to keep it closed. I love how there's a pocket for all the items so they're easy to access and store. The setup is great. You have the color sheets on the left and the sketchpad on the right, although you can switch them around if you like. The sketchpad does fit in the pocket on the left and the color sheets can be placed in the pocket on the right. Between the color sheets and the sketchpad is a water brush, and to the right of the sketchpad is a pen. The sketchpad contains 24 leaves of 240 GSM hot pressed paper. Ideally, watercolor paper should be at least 300 GSM. You'll see later in the video that I had no issues with the paper buckling. It didn't seem too thin. However, I did have issues with erasing on this paper. I would advise you not to use any eraser at all on this paper if possible. The pen is black, size 0.5 millimeters. I have to say I really love it. It's a nice dark black that dries pretty quickly. 0.5 millimeters is perhaps a bit thick for drawing on an A6 sketchpad, but it's a good pen, I can't complain. The water brush has a round tip and is really precise, as you'll see later in the video. I really appreciate the level of precision I can achieve with this brush. With this travel paint kit, you get the standard set of Viviva Colorsheets, a portable watercolor palette with 16 different colors. There are water-resistant sheets between the color sheets so the colors don't mix. The color sheets also come with a reusable mixing palette, which is another thing that's super useful, especially when you paint on the go. The palette can be cleaned easily by just wiping it. Let's swatch the colors. The standard Viviva paints include beautiful shades of red, pink, a couple of oranges, yellows and ochres, a couple of greens, some blues, purple, magenta, and a lovely cool black. I also got this fall set of Viviva Colorsheets. Here are the colors included in this set. This set includes 2 gorgeous shades of red, an orange and an orange brown. Now this fire color is my favorite. It's a beautiful shade of orange with sparkles in it. I'm not sure how well you can see the sparkles on camera, but they make this color really special. You also have this vibrant yellow, a couple of shades of brown, a bright and a dark green, a bright blue and an ink blue, as well as pastel pink, orange, green, and blue. But checking out the art supplies and watercolor swatching doesn't give you the full idea of what it's like to actually use them to create a painting. So I made a couple of quick paintings to really put these art supplies to the test. First up, I'll use the travel paint kit with the standard Viviva Colorsheets to create a small painting of an orange cake. I'll be using the sketchpad paper that comes with the Viviva paint kit. I sketched the cake using pencil and I traced it with a pen that's included in the travel paint kit. Next, I used the color sheets with the water brush to add color to my sketch. I used the lovely shades of orange to color the orange slices and the glaze on top of the cake. Then I mixed yellow ochre with lots of water and a touch of burnt umber for the glaze on the side of the cake. I darkened this with the black and the burnt umber to add shadows. Then I mixed the blue for the blueberries. After adding some details to the orange slices, I went back to the blueberries to add shadows. I then added color to the board on which the cake stands, adding the base layer of color first and then the shadows. I then added some more shadows to the blueberries. And this is the finished watercolor food illustration of an orange cake. I think it turned out pretty good and I think the colors work great with this. As for the Viviva watercolor review, I can say that the oranges, browns and blues in particular are gorgeous and I think that they layer very nicely. Let me know in the comments what other subjects you'd like me to paint with this set of Viviva color sheets. To test the Fall Set of Viviva watercolor, I decided to create a painting of a dying rose. I think this fall-themed watercolor botanical art is quite suitable for this set of paints. I used Viviva's ivory sketchbook paper in size A5 for this painting. I once again made the sketch using the pen from the travel paint kit. I decided to use the gorgeous reds for my rose, along with that beautiful fire color with the sparkles I admired earlier. I used the red on the outer edges of the petals and the fire in the center of the petals. I let the two colors bleed into one another to create a smooth, gradual transition. Because I used a lot of water, I worked on petals that do not touch so the paint wouldn't transfer from one petal to another. While I waited for the paint on the petals to dry, I painted the leaves using oranges, browns, and greens. To keep things interesting, I used different colors for different leaves. I used a mix of green and brown to paint the stem, then added orange to the bottom of the stem and brown to the top to create a gradient effect. While the leaves were drying, I went back to the petals. I mixed a dark red to use on the outer edges of the petals. I added paint to the other petals in the same way as before, blending the red and the fire. I then added veins to the leaves using brown. I also wanted to make the leaves look more interesting by adding brown to the outer edges and blending it gradually towards the center. For the leaf on the right, I wanted to create a gradual transition from yellow to brown and green. I then added veins to the remaining leaves. Then I added gradient effects to the other leaves, using a darker color on the outer edges and blending it towards the center. I then went back to add color to the remaining petals. I used a bright green on the sepals. Then I added dark red to the outer edges of the petals and blended it towards the center. I added some shadows with brown to create volume. Then I added dark green to the sepals. I also added some brown for the shadows. To the bright parts of the sepals, I added dark green for shadows. I then added orange to pistils. And that's it. That's the finished painting. Now for a Viviva Colorsheets review, I think this fall set is great for painting flowers with the gorgeous reds, oranges, greens, and browns. Fire in particular is a beautiful color. I can see myself using it all the time. What do you think? What other subjects would this set be perfect for? Let me know in the comments. If you like this Viviva review video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more art-related content. And don't forget to grab a 10% discount on Viviva products by using my affiliate links and code, which you can find in the description.